All right, we're live. Oh, I can't wait to speak to Colissa today. We are going to speak to another TeachBetter 22 featured speaker. And of course, we have Colissa Jordan today. She's going to be speaking at TeachBetter 22 in Akron, Ohio on October 14th through the 15th. And for those who haven't registered yet, you can go to teachbetterconference.com and you can find the full schedule of all of our featured speakers, in addition to some of the events and some of the companies that will be there. And it's going to be a fantastic time. Just a few reminders. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Twitch. So many social media outlets. And if you've missed any of the previous episodes on the Teach Better 22 series on our featured speakers, you can find them on the Teach Better YouTube or Facebook pages. So just a couple more reminders. If you want to have some comments in the comment section, if you have any questions for Colissa, please make sure you drop those in. We would love to answer those throughout our conversation. And Colissa, you doing all right today?
I am wonderful, doing well.
That's awesome. We're going to have a short break, and when we come back, we're going to learn a little bit more of this fantastic featured speaker. All right, we are back. We're going to talk about some of the highlights for Colissa and what she's going to be speaking on. But before we do that, I would love to learn a little bit more about you and who you are as an educator.
All right, so name is Colissa. I am an 11th and 12th grade English teacher here in Cincinnati, Ohio. I teach in a school district, a technical school district, serving 36 other school districts at a technical school. It's called Great Oaks Career Campuses. I'm also a doctoral student at the University of Dayton for educational leadership. I am a founding ambassador for the Teach Better team. And as of, I want to say a few weeks ago, lead ambassador of professional development. So kind of busy right now, doing a lot of different things.
That's awesome. So you're a lead ambassador. So what does that entail for those who are watching and they don't know what that means?
Well, this is probably now the second round of lead ambassadors. So, lead ambassador, we're just we help out Andrea and Meg. They've been so busy, getting the ambassadors together. So we're just kind of taking some of the things off their shoulders that they do well and excellent already. So, as the professional development, just every month or so, just some things that the ambassadors kind of want to get a little bit more exceptional at, and we just kind of spearhead a little bit of those things. So that's it.
Well, I see you're already getting some green hearts. That's awesome. So anyone else that's want to flood the comment section with green hearts for one of our ambassadors, that's awesome. So Colissa, what are you most excited about for Teach Better 22?
Oh, wow. Just that we actually get to be back face to face with each other. I mean, we are just, COVID kind of, gave us a hiatus, and, virtual is great. Virtual is fine. Our Boxer groups are wonderful, but, 2019 was great. And, it's just going to be nice to just be back in each other's presence and, just learning from each other and just being around the fellowship. It's just going to be wonderful.
That's awesome. So you were at Teach Better 19?
Yes, that was my first interaction, getting to know everyone. I thought I would just wanted more, and then COVID hit, and if not for the Teach Better team, I think I would have lost my mind completely altogether. And then when they sent out that they needed ambassadors, I just threw something out there, and they just scooped me up, and they're kind of stuck with me from now on. Pretty much.
I would not say we're stuck with you. I think we have the pleasure of having you a part of our community, and let's talk about that, right? So, for the last couple of years, because I was at 2019 also, it was such a fantastic event and made so many lasting connections with folks. And, during the pandemic, I was leaning heavily on different communities. Obviously, the Teach Better community was the family, right? Is been one that I've leaned on the most. So for you, what was it like to be a part of the community for the last couple of years?
Oh wow. Just well, one, to know that you're not by yourself. Um, that was definitely a huge part. And then of course we were all just kind of thrown into the pandemic. It was um, just trying to find different resources and different um, things to be there. First be there for yourselves, then be there for your colleagues, and then definitely to be there for the students, were pretty big things. And so I think when they started I think it was almost daily, it was something to do, and not just in the state, because of course I'm in Ohio, and of course it's like home base with everyone, but then to meet so many educators and administrators worldwide that we're dealing with some of the same things, and like, okay, try this out and do this, and I'm like almost everything, writing down and sharing it with others in my building and others in the district, and then bringing those back into the classroom. And it was like, okay, so once we knew what we were dealing with after um when we got back in our buildings, it was like, okay, don't leave me. Tell me, give me something else, give me something else. And then just being able to say, okay, I got this from Teach Better. And now I want to be able to share with other people. And I was able to share with other people and introduce these different strategies and excellence with other people. And it was like, okay, we don't have it all together either. They don't have it all together either, but that support system is what makes everything just so great. So
That's wonderful. And I know you love sharing ideas. So I want to learn about what you're going to be speaking at the conference about, and what type of resources can our, folks that are at the conference be receiving when they go to your session.
So, and my session is not a very long session, so I had to like try to get it dwindled down. So as I mentioned at the top, is a doctoral student at University of Dayton, and my dissertation is about cultural competency and now culturally responsive pedagogy. And so far in my study, I'm learning that there's so many educators, pre-service educators, veteran educators, even leadership, who within the last 10 years or so have not had the benefit of any type of DEI, diversity, equity, inclusive training. And so we put them in these classrooms, and situations in the classroom, in the building, in the district pop up as a result of what's going on in the world today, where we're not what we call culturally responsive. And because of that, we see the impact of it on our student learning. And by impact of student learning, we're talking about these different factors that um, definitely have a bearing on student achievement, engagement, motivation. And then, of course, we live in this type of educational environment that says that numbers need to match up to what students are learning. That's a big thing. And so, my question is, what is happening? Where do our educators see themselves on what we call this cultural competence continuum? And this continuum has 6 different positions on them. Without going too much into that, because I want people to come to the session to learn about this, is I want people, educators, to kind of reflect on themselves, because to me, anything dealing with diversity, equity, and inclusion, it has to be intentional. So intentionally, I want people to kind of look at themselves and see where they are, and when they see where they are, what would something, this ideal of cultural responsiveness, what does this impact? What type of impact does this have in your actual classroom? And what are the little things that educators can do for themselves without leadership being on their backs, without an evaluative type of scale, without pay or anything? What could they do in their classrooms to be more culturally responsive and um, be powerful with how they teach their students and how they connect with their students and encourage and their the teaching and learning with their students in the classroom. So it's a really big topic, and I can go in so many different directions with it. And just some of the resources that I can squeeze into the small amount of time would kind of influence someone to want to explore this a little bit deeper.
Yeah, I love the concept, and I totally understand you don't want to give too much
Right.
now to get folks come to the session. But I'm curious though, like for those who are listening and they're watching and they're like, you know what, I've never really, for whatever reason, haven't thought about culturally responsive classrooms and what that looks like, and I want to assess what my classrooms are like.
Mm-hmm.
What can they do to kind of get a gauge as to if they are being culturally responsive?
So think of it this way. They're just if you think about how you respond to your students that don't look like you, students who did not grow up as you did. I can just throw different terms out: power, privilege, entitlement, oppression. Then I throw out these different categories: social, economic, race, gender, religion, those type of things. How you respond to all of those things determine how your students are going to achieve in your class. They determine how engaged your students are going to be in class. They determine the type of relationship. They determine the motivation that your students are going to bring into the classroom. When you look at research, so I can at least do this part because I probably won't bring this much up in this session. When you look at today's classrooms, we still have a disproportionate amount, a disproportionate number of our educators who do not look like the students that they teach. And because of that, we still have these other terms that pop up: implicit bias. We still have the predominantly, white, female, cisgender teachers who are teaching students of color, or students who are special needs, or students who are immigrants, students who English is not their first language. And how they respond to these students has a direct impact. When you look at the NAEP numbers, the organization who's always looking at the factors that determine how successful students are going to be once they graduate from high school, those numbers are determined by all of these factors. And so we're looking at this pedagogy, and we're looking at, well, what has prepared these teachers to walk into the classroom ready to teach these type of students who every day they're what they look like and what assets they're bringing into the classroom. Are these teachers ready to respond to, and respond in a way where we're going to diminish all those things that are going to keep these gaps opening? So once again, in the small session that I have, I got to try to equip us with all this stuff.
I know, I can just
It's gonna be
sense.
exciting. It's gonna be exciting.
I can sense how much like information you are holding in right now and
Yeah.
wanting to share, and I love it. It's such an important topic, and so obviously you're going through your doctorate program and you're doing research and data. You're going through all that. So, is there anything that while you were digging through all that information that you were like, "Wow, I'm actually surprised by this information. I can't wait to share it."
Well, one thing is about, and we talk about it with the Teach Better team, and that really sticks out. And for the last couple of years, we talk about it with teachers a lot, and we talk about teachers having voice. Well, one thing that I like to, actually, I can't say like, I'm very passionate about is allowing our students to have voice. And with culturally responsive pedagogy, a very big thing is making sure and encouraging our students to have voice. And so I can at least give that tidbit as one of the resources: how to empower our students to have voice, especially voice around their diversity and their identities in the classroom, and in all different formats of making sure that they have their voice and that their voices are seen as assets as opposed to some type of deficit in the classroom.
All right, I got to dig a little bit deeper here because you got me interested. So the student voice piece, you talked about different formats. I think that's such an important factor in the classroom, especially with the cultural responsive piece and making sure
Mhm.
everyone feels like they're a part of the classroom, right? And that they're important. So as far as student voice, what are some things that you do in your classroom, and what are some of the formats that you like to use?
All right. So I'm one of the teachers, been English and in a career technical environment. We know that a lot of our students are not going the college route. Our students come specifically to learn their trade. So, I'm the essay writer. I love student writing, but I've had to over the years kind of scale back on that. Even though writing is super duper important, I have to allow them to give me other ways to demonstrate those standards and those skills, which is why the grid method is so important to do. So in my grid, in my level for that level 3, even though that level 3, that demonstration might say you have to give me a narrative, or you have to give me expository, you have to give me persuasive. That format can be whatever format the student believes that will give me that what I need for that objective. But that format can be pretty much whatever. It still has to be that level of knowledge, that depth of knowledge that demonstrates that standard, but it can be whatever format. It can be the best flip grid imaginable. It can be their own TED talk. And mind you, I love making them do a TED talk and to encourage them, because a lot of my students hate doing presentations and being face to face. I've had them do a live. I've had them do podcasts. I've had them do something related to their career programs, their labs. But as long as it's something that they believe that they have mastered how to do it, but it's about their choice and it's about their voice. And a lot of times I will get students who have to rationalize why they've chosen that format to do what it is they've had to do. But this is something that it takes me out of my comfort zone as well, because again, I taught traditional school forever, but because I'm in this technical school and I have to realize that for a lot of them, writing an essay is never going to be their thing. And I have to deal with that. But that standard is still the standard, and the curriculum is still the curriculum. Their grade, okay, that's fine. That's for the district. But I need to know that they know what they're doing. So the choice is always up to them, so long as they can demonstrate that they know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's so important. I love it. All right, so let's talk about the conference, because we got a lot of different things that's it's going on with the social events. We got Podcast Row. We got a lot of different things going on. So,
Oh yeah.
so how are you possibly going to fit in all of the different speakers that you want to see?
Well, here's I'm looking at my sticky notes that are around me. So during the week that we have the conference, so never mind how I'm going to see all the speakers and everything during that conference. I also have another conference that I'm supposed to be at in
Oh wow.
Wisconsin during that week. So I'm waiting for that schedule to come out at the same time, because I'm like, I'm gonna try. I have to get there and get to Wisconsin and whatever else. So I'm going to be very intentional in what I need. I'm the department head in my building, and so several of our meetings we're going to talk about what our needs are in the building. We're coming off of that first full year being back face to face with our students. We have changes in leadership now, and we're looking at the needs of our students. So I'm gonna try and see, because I'm not really sure how many people in our building or even our district are coming. I do know we have several who are coming. So a lot of times it's not going to be just what I want to hear or need to hear in the conference. I need to see what everyone else needs to, and I need to pick up that information. I'm in the conference, but I do know that the 2019 one, I'm on the app. Those of you who are coming, please use the app
Definitely use the app.
and schedule. Um, but I'm going to be very intentional, and do all the darn. I missed that one, and I can't go to this one.
Well, you obviously have a strategy now, because me and you both. I mean, 2019 was just a whirlwind, and I was not prepared for trying to get to all of the wonderful sessions. I Before we change subjects, I do want to throw this up on the screen from Emma. She was talking about incorporating different things that you said. So I think this is such a wonderful thing to have that student choice and showing mastery in multiple ways, not just through a test, right?
Emma is a coworker of mine who's now an administrator. So we share quite a lot of things and collaborate a lot on some things. So yes.
That's so cool. Well, Andrea says she's jealous that we were both there in 2019, but now we all get to be together in 2022, right?
Yes.
How many ambassadors do you think you're going to see at this event?
I'm open to all of them.
All of them? That would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
We need our own hangout, face-to-face hangout.
All right, Andrea, you're watching, so make that happen. All right. Colissa, how can folks connect with you on social media?
Well, definitely on Facebook. Colissa Jordan. I am locked out of my Twitter.
Oh.
Yeah, so I am on Twitter, First Lady 76, I believe. And I'm on LinkedIn. And of course, through the TeachBetter team.
Right? Look at this. All these folks jumping in saying that they can't wait to meet. And Andrea, I don't know if you saw it. I'm going to put it back up. She's working on it. All right. So hopefully something's coming for the ambassadors. So that'll be wonderful. And just a few things for everyone. Again, if you go to teachbetterconference.com, that's where you can find all of the information, not only on Colissa, but all of the fantastic speakers that we have, some of the companies that will be there, the podcast. We got Podcast Row. So Colissa, you're going to have to join me. That's my space. So you got to join me and the 15 other podcasters. We're going to be throwing folks on and interviewing them so you can speak more about this topic, because I can tell it's just like bubbling out of you. You got more to say on this topic, which I can't wait to hear more about, and to see you in person will be fantastic.
Yes, absolutely, Josh. Will do.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone that joined us today. And again, if you are looking for some of the other interviews, you can go back to YouTube or Facebook. And, there's a large community here with TeachBetter. So find your way like Colissa did. You can be an ambassador, or you can find us through many, many groups. Hopefully we can show some support, especially during a difficult time. So Colissa, thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So right now, I want to know if you're ready to teach better.
That's the whole mission of this weekend.
Just being here ready to learn and grow and come together like this is awesome.
What are those small changes that can make you better tomorrow than you were today?
All the amazing speakers we have here, wow.
So we have a ton of people here who are published authors, who are writing about education.
Let's get out there and